Hi friends, welcome to Calm in the Chaos Homeschool. My name is Davine and today I'm going to be talking about how I'm combining Bookshark level D+E condensed with Beautiful Feats primary early American history. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, stick around. Now, if you want a look at either one of these curriculums separately, I have made videos for those. So I have one for Bookshark, I have one for Beautiful Feet, and those have been put up so you can take a look for those if you're more interested in one or the other. In today's video, I'm going to be looking on the inside of both of them and showing you how I mesh them together and how I organize myself in order to teach both of these curriculums this year.
All right, so let's get into how I combine, or how I'm planning on combining these two curriculums. So first of all, I took a look at the table of contents for this one. So in the very beginning here, you can see we have the table of contents and we have all the different main subjects that it's going to be covering. So we have the Vikings, the indigenous people of North America, the Golden Age of Discovery, the colonies, the Revolutionary War, the young United States, and the Civil War. So those are the main topics covered in this curriculum. So what I did first was I went and I kind of wrote the dates that those things take place in. So I just had a general idea of when the dates are for that. So these are my, let's say, units that I'm thinking of. So I have those here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in at my Bookshark. So I'm going to take out my Bookshark and I'm going to look at these here, and I'm going to look at what kind of books, or I'm going to look at, in particular, so here's North American Indians. So when I'm reading about that, I know Pedro's journal is Columbus, all right? So we have Columbus and we have North American Indians. So where would that fit in here? So, well, it's not Vikings. So I would be doing this unit first before I start my Bookshark. So we're going to do a unit on Vikings, and now we're going to have the indigenous people of North America. So then I just have to decide, do I want to do this first or do I want to do this first? Oh, and then we have the Golden Age of Discovery. So I would start with this here, the indigenous people of North America. So I did the Vikings, the indigenous people of North America. And then here's the Golden Age of Discovery. And I would say that that is where Columbus would come in. So I might go this, and then get out this and start on Pedro's journal, North American Indians, and now I've hit a different one. I've hit the landmark history of the American people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that book out. So I have that book here. I have that book here, so I'm going to take that book out, and I'm just going to take a look. Now, let's see. It's going to have me reading chapters 1. Let's see how far I get here. Chapters 1, and chapter 3, chapter 6, chapter 8. Looks like a big section of reading. So from chapter 1 to 8. So let's take a look. Chapter 1. So this looks like the colonies, setting up of the colonies. So I know that that's what that is here. So that is going to fit in with here, the colonies. And so actually, when you're combining two histories, it is not a bad idea to decide on what pieces you might not want to include. So I started reading this with my children. I read the first chapter. I was a little iffy on it. I wasn't sure if I would enjoy it, if my kids would enjoy it. It is more of a textbook approach, and we don't like to do that a lot in our homeschool, so not the living book approach. I didn't mind it, but I didn't feel like it was a super living account of the stories. So I had already kind of decided before I even read it that I probably would not be doing the two landmark history books. So there's two of them. So we have volume 1 from Plymouth to the West, volume 2 from Charleston to the Moon. And I had already looked at these and I decided these would probably not work for my family. So I was actually going to skip all of the reading that is in here. And instead of that, I'll replace it with the living books of Beautiful Feet history. So what that means is whenever we have the landmark of history books, I can just skip those. So we have several weeks of that. And so that doesn't mean I'm not going to be reading the books that come with it, the poetry. My kids are not doing the readers. That doesn't mean that. I do want to do those. Those I really love. But we don't do Bookshark like this. I basically organize all of my things. So like my read alouds, I have them in order, and I try to keep kind of similar to the history that we're doing. I don't worry if we get behind or if we get ahead too much. If we get ahead too much, I might include another book that we want to read, but I don't need to be reading the exact chapter on the exact day. So I have my read alouds in order. Poetry, we just stick in my morning basket. So whenever we get to the poetry part of our morning basket, we just read a few poems. I hardly ever only read a page. These are very short poems. We can usually do maybe 3 to 4 pages in a sitting. So I just read those when I come up to those in my morning basket. Readers, same thing. I have all my readers lined up. Let me just show you my chart where I put my readers for my kids. So here is my readers for my daughters. I have this chart here. If you've watched previous videos, you'll know that I don't like to only do the readers that are in Bookshark. I like to look at Sunlight. I like to look at the full versions because this is Bookshark D plus E condensed. We like a lot of readers. So I create a list, or I kind of go through chronologically what they're reading. And of course, I do try to line it up as much as I can with where we are in history. And if we ever get too far ahead in our reading, then I just have some other readers that they can pick from. So I just have the order I would like my girls to be reading these in. And I have a spreadsheet like this, 2 pages here, and this is all the way through the end of modern history. So these are what I'm expecting to do over the next year or 2 with my girls. So that's what we do for readers. I do use the order provided in Bookshark to create that, but I also add other relevant history readers and things like that. So all I'm concerned about right now is the main history component of Bookshark and combining that with Beautiful Feet. So like I said, we have done Vikings, we have done indigenous people of North America. We would skip over to Bookshark. We would read Pedro's journal. We would do the North American Indians. And then I'm just going to be skipping all of this, the landmark history, American history. We're skipping all that. So then the next thing in Bookshark is What's the Big Idea? Ben Franklin. That is the next book here. So when was Ben Franklin? I would do quick research. I would say, okay, he's about this time period. And would I like to go over here? So I'd probably jump over here now. Maybe I've done this. I went and did Pedro's journal, and I did the North American Indian book. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to do the Golden Age of Discovery here in Beautiful Feet. Then I'm going to decide, do I want to do the Beautiful Feet, the colonies, or do I want to go and start What's the Big Idea, Ben Franklin? Well, I'm probably going to go with this because I feel like that's going to give me an overall look. And then this is going to give me a more specific look after we have the overall view. So then I would work through these lessons here in Beautiful Feet. Then I would jump over to here. What's the Big Idea? Ben Franklin. And like I said, I'm going to skip that here. Okay, more landmark history. So I'm going to skip all those. Okay, the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights. So where does that fit in history? I might look it up and slot it in, either be after this, or I would do this Revolutionary War first and then slot it in, just depending on where it is in history. So in order to make this easier for me, once I've gone through and I have organized my thoughts, I've decided what order I want to do it in, I create a checklist. It's my history checklist. Let me show you what my history checklist looks like. So here is my history checklist, and this is not the beginning of my checklist. This is where I'm at currently. So I will go and I will type up a 2-column, but this is the order I'll do it in. And I can fold this in half. It can be my bookmark in my Beautiful Feet binder or in any book that I'm reading. So for example, here we are. I'm kind of in the settlers or colony time period. I wanted to do these things here with sunlight. Okay, so here we go. Sunlight. you notice that that is Sunlight. It doesn't say Bookshark. So you guys thought I was combining Bookshark with Beautiful Feet. Yes, I am combining Bookshark with Beautiful Feet. However, I'm also finishing up my Sunlight D and C condensed, and I'm adding that in chronologically. So that is the world history, and we're coming to the end of that Sunlight, and it is world history. So I'm doing that, and I'm skipping to Beautiful Feet during the same time period, or I'm going to Bookshark. So I'm kind of having three, like the streams going here. We have world history going, and then we have the Beautiful Feet books, and then we have Bookshark D and E. All right, so sorry if that's super confusing. I hope that makes sense. But essentially, it's the same. I am working on Sunlight. I'm doing these books here. I have included here in bold where I should be with my read alouds. So right now we're reading Captain Nobody, which is in Sunlight B and C. All right, so that just kind of keeps me on track, tells me this is about when you should be reading that, and we are on track. So now if you're wondering, how do I keep up with the read alouds? Because I do a lot of literature-based learning. So we have the read alouds, and then we're reading here, and we're reading books from here, the history books from here. What I do is I have basically 3 ways we cover reading in our homeschool. First, I read during the school day. So I will have a book that I'm reading during the school day. So right now we are reading Cameron Townsend during the school day, and I think that's not even a Sunlight or a Bookshark. I think that might be my Father's World suggestion. So we're reading that during the school day. Then I have a nighttime read aloud that I read to my kids, and so that is Captain Nobody. I try to get to that about 4 nights a week. So I usually try to pick the one that's a little more fun, maybe a little more just easier to listen to. So we have that going on. At the same time, we are currently listening to in the car, and we have been for quite a while because it's pretty long. We have started The Witch of Blackbird Pond. And so we are doing the audiobook of The Witch of Blackbird Pond in the car. And I just do that whenever we're in the car for a while and I feel like I want to listen to the next chapter. So that's how we keep up on all the read alouds. So here is where I am with Sunlight. Then my plan was to go do Beautiful Feet, lesson 20. And I believe we've done a few of these lessons. I didn't check it off. But we're in the colonies lessons right now, and that is all of these lessons here. So these are all the colony lessons. All right, so the other thing that I do, I don't necessarily do 1 lesson a day when I do it. If I can, I will do 2 lessons a day. I just go as long as I feel like we can. So I can easily read, these are 4 pages to read, I can do that. I will do maybe a lesson and a half of the Beautiful Feet. I might do all of this lesson and start this lesson, but maybe if there's another activity, and we skip a lot of activities, we don't love to do a lot of activities, but maybe there's a YouTube link to watch. I might watch that at the beginning of the next lesson, finish that off, and then start lesson 22, something like that. So I do try to put 2 lessons together whenever possible. So here's all my Beautiful Feet, the colonies. Then I tell myself, okay, then I'm going to jump to Bookshark, and I would like to start reading Johnny Tremaine. So I should be finishing up. Oh, here we go. Captain Nobody. I need to read Owls in the Family pretty soon, so that would be next on my list. Once I've done reading that, I can start Johnny Tremaine, and then here's where I'm going to start on What's the Big Idea, Benjamin Franklin. And then here I'm just giving myself a note. Okay, the reader they suggest at this time is The Matchlock Gun and Tolliver's Secret. So these are the readers my girls should be approximately at that point, as much as possible. And then here we go to the next, and this was my prediction. We are not going to be here for the school year. Like I said, we are about here right now. I don't know. I'm guessing we'll get to here. That's where I'm trying to get to by the end of this year. So we're going to start our new year and finish that off and then get to here. So that was just kind of my prediction when I was typing this up, where we might be. So then I'll start the Revolutionary War period. So here, that's the period there. And so I would do the Sunlight, the world history section there. And then I would do the Beautiful Feet that goes with the Revolutionary War. And that's all I have here printed off. But on my computer, I do have all of these lessons lined up through the end of this and the end of Bookshark. So if it is helpful for you, just in case it's helpful for you, I don't mind putting a Word document link to this, and I might go back and add those earlier lessons that I probably have deleted. But if I have it, I will definitely add them for you. So if you want to do this, if you want to combine Bookshark D&E with Beautiful Feet, you can use this plan. However, I do not have scheduled, because I said I didn't want to do it. I don't have scheduled these two books. So these two books will not be in my plans, and I'm not going to go through and add those. So you would have to add those yourself if you're interested in using the landmark history of the American people. I liked the other books. The other books all look good to me. The other ones that Bookshark includes, I don't think we'll have a problem reading those. I feel like between the two histories with the Beautiful Feet books and all the books I'm reading in Bookshark, we will have a very thorough overview of American history without having to read some of the dry textbooks. So that is my plan on combining History D&E condensed with Beautiful Feet early American history.
So that is how I'm planning on combining these two curriculums. So I hope this video was helpful in showing you just my thought process and how I do some organization just to keep myself organized throughout the year. If you like videos like this, please don't forget to like, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit the bell notification so that YouTube lets you know the next time a new video is up. Thank you for coming today, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye, everyone.